Hey, Sun Devil fans, Brad Denny with 3TV, CBS 5, and the Speak of the Devils podcast here. And welcome back to another episode of the Speak of the Devils Sit-Down series, where I bring you in-depth one-on-one conversations with key players, coaches, and other figures within Sun Devil athletics. There's quite simply no place like home. And since Kenny Dillingham took the reins of the Sun Devil football program over a year ago, a wave of former Arizona high school football stars have returned back to Tempe to play for the Sun Devils. That includes Tate Romney. After a season at BYU where two of his brothers starred for the Cougars, Tate came back home and became a starting linebacker for the Sun Devil defense in 2023, and again looks to be a foundational piece for this defense moving forward. On this episode, we discuss how good it is to be home, the thrill of laying out a ball carrier, the challenge of getting back into football shape both physically and mentally after a 2-year LDS mission, what to expect in year 2 of this Sun Devil defense, and so much more. So let's get to it. Here's my conversation with Tate Romney. All right, here with ASU linebacker Tate Romney. So first question, I got to know, when you just absolutely level someone, stop a ball carrier in their tracks, what's that feeling like when you just like stop a human being, kind of against their will and just put them down?
I mean, it's one of the best feelings in football for sure. I mean, that's what you love as a defensive player. That's kind of as good as it gets. Just, I mean, enforcing your will on somebody, there's nothing more fun than that, really.
Is that something that's kind of always come naturally, or is that just kind of something, an instinct or feeling that's kind of developed over the years for you?
I think a little bit of both. I wasn't a super aggressive little kid, but it was still fun. Like, I loved playing football as a kid still, but the instinct just kind of kicked in more and more as I grew up, and then, it just became something that I love.
In the middle of winter workouts right now for you guys in the offseason with Coach Joe and such, what's kind of the vibe right now with this team? Where coming off the season it is, a lot of new faces, of course, as well. Just the overall kind of team mentality in your estimation right now.
I think I would have to say that the overall mentality is just hunger, I guess is the best word to describe it. I feel like, compared to last year, the workouts have been a lot more intense. People have been a lot more dialed in. Most people are putting in extra work too. I think there's a lot better feeling than before. I think you have to kind of forget about how last season went. It didn't go how we wanted, and focus on this upcoming season. And like you said, there's a lot of new guys, and I think it's been really good to have a change up with that. Have some new guys come in and bring a new feeling to it too. But I think everybody is kind of locked in right now, and I like how things are going.
As a guy who transferred just a year ago, you have that experience. Is that something, any kind of lessons that you were able to learn from your own experiences that you're helping some of the newcomers, some of the new faces, whether they're high school signees or transfer portal additions?
Definitely. I think, especially in the linebacker room, I kind of went through the same process last year of transferring in, learning a whole new defense, getting to know the school and everything. So I've been able to help a little bit with teaching the defense as much as I can to the other linebackers, and just kind of demonstrating the standards and the flow of things. But it's been good.
How do you feel that this team so far is coming together? It's 2 off seasons now that there's been a lot of new faces, a few dozen newcomers. How do you feel like the second time around that everybody is starting to mesh? Granted, it's still early in the off season, but still, how do you think that things are progressing at this point?
At first, it's definitely kind of shocking. Just kind of walking in the locker room the first couple of days this semester and seeing completely new faces. How many there were? It was kind of shocking, a little bit different. But I'd say it's going well so far. It's kind of split up right now. We have the bigger group of lifting, like those who play on the box, and then you have the skills. So, I've definitely been getting to know a lot of the bigger guys, a lot of the front 7 guys a lot better, and don't interact too much right now with the skill. But we will get to that point, but I like how it's going. I think people are meshing pretty well.
Of course, Kenny likes to keep things fun as well as working hard, and has you guys divide up into teams, competing in different events. And how's your team doing right now?
I believe we're in 4th place right now. We were number 1, but to be honest, it's kind of unfair. We have like 4 injured guys, 4 guys who weren't able to
Oh
compete in
no.
some of the events, and so we lost some points from that. But we're doing pretty well, I'd say. I think with everybody healthy, I think we'd be on the top.
All right. So looking back at last season, obviously you're first in Tempe. What was that just like? You get out there, you get that starting lineup. When you made that first tackle as a Sun Devil, and got on that stat sheet and just kind of announced your presence. What was that? What was that moment like for you?
It's kind of a relief, I guess. Is the best way to describe it. I was super nervous coming to that first game. Really, I guess my first college game, my first college start, first time really getting experience, really getting a lot of playing time since high school, which was back in 2019, December 2019. So it was a relief. It felt really good to finally make a tackle again, to finally, get in the mix of things, and I felt excited and for the rest of the season from that point on.
Now, you had a pretty good debut season for the Sun Devils. Overall, just when you look back at that 2023 season, what are some of your favorite moments and highlights for you?
Some of my favorite moments. I think the UCLA game was definitely one of my favorite games. I think it was that was a fun game. Obviously, got to play in the Rose Bowl and got the win there. It was, I don't know. I think things were just kind of clicking that day for the defense. We played really well together, and it was just, there's nothing like that because on the defense, everybody has to do their job together for the defense to work, and when everybody's doing that, it's a lot of fun. And when we played games like that, we played like UCLA and Washington. Those were the best moments of the season because it was, making adjustments and staying on the offenses. Those were good times.
What was it like from a defensive perspective? Obviously, the offense had so many injury issues, so many offensive lineman injuries, quarterback injuries, and they had to cobble some unique stuff together. Obviously, probably most pronounced in the UCLA game. But as a defense, did you guys feel any extra pressure knowing that, hey, those guys are having to battle through those injuries? We really have to maintain that high level of production. And obviously, as you cited, like games and like shutting down the Huskies and UCLA, you were able to accomplish that?
That there could be a little more pressure on it. You try not to see it that way, just because you're one team. An injury on offense is still an injury to the whole team. You play off of each other, and so it was definitely hard sometimes with all those injuries. But I think the coaches did a good job preparing us for those situations, and I think. Some games we did well with it. Others we didn't do a very good job. And you see when you don't play as a team, it's hard to get the win. To win a game, you have to win in on offense, defense, and special teams.
Looking back at the year as a whole, though, it seemed like Brian Ward did a pretty good job in his first season as a defensive coordinator in Tempe. Overall, what was your favorite aspects of the defense? It seems like the scheme was really kind of built on aggression. It's certainly more aggressive than Sun Devil fans have seen in the last couple of years. And what was it like just kind of playing in that D and kind of being able to make those big plays?
You said I love the aggressiveness of the defense. I love the amount of pressure we bring. It was just exciting when we could get a team to third down, just knowing most of the time that something exciting was coming. If it wasn't a blitz, it would still cause chaos because we usually show a blitz or something like that. So I just love the aggressiveness, and then also the variability of the play calls that Coach Ward called. It showed a lot of different looks to offenses, and I think got pretty confusing to certain quarterbacks and offenses at times. And I like being able to play a lot of different hands during a game. So it's fun being able to do that.
Overall, it was kind of a season of adversity. A lot of things that were thrown at this team, whether it was injury issues or things outside of the team's control. Going through that 2023 season and kind of all the things that were thrown at you guys, what were some of the big lessons that you're able to kind of take away going through that, and then those experiences, and that you're able to put forward and for a hopefully brighter future?
I think some of the biggest lessons, we talk about this a lot. Been emphasizing it a lot. Just this off season, is just how important the little things are, the little discipline, how important it is getting better each day. I think at times we were focused on the wrong things. We are so focused on just trying to get a win, trying to have this great season. At the beginning of the season, we talked about that a lot, having this fantastic season coming ahead. But I think sometimes we got lost in that, and we forgot about getting better every single day. And so that's one of the main focuses right now. That's one of the biggest lessons we've learned, is that we just have to focus on ourselves and get better each and every day. And when it gets to the season, it's about getting better each practice. It's about getting better each game, so that we can move forward and progress as individuals and all together as a team. I think that would probably have to be the biggest lesson, biggest takeaway from this past season.
How did you see Kenny Dillingham kind of handle everything, kind of leading this program through a difficult year? So many just things outside of his control that he's just trying to cobble together. A young coach, and obviously his first time as a head coach. A lot of these difficulties. How did you see him kind of navigate those choppy waters?
Given the circumstances, I think he did a great job. That was his first season as a head coach, and we matched the season from the year before. And most of the time, you see when a new head coach gets in, their record drops down a little bit from the previous year. And so, I mean, it was he was dealt a tough hand for sure. It was a tough season, a lot of bad things happening. But I think he handled it extremely well, and I think it's the start of building a solid foundation. It's not just about one season. It's not just about last season. It's about a franchise, or the whole football program. And I think we're heading in a really good direction. I think I love how the workouts are going. The momentum is kind of building right now. I think you see he's done a great job with the transfer portal and with recruiting, getting some solid players in. And he's really focusing on getting good guys and building a strong culture. And I think it's hard to build that strong culture in just one off season, during one season. But given a little bit of time, I think I know it's going to continue to grow, and I'm excited for what happens the rest of this year.
Now that you have a year under your belt and working with AJ Cooper as your position coach, what are some of the things that kind of jump out to you about what he brings, and as the leader of those linebackers?
One of my favorite things about him is that he holds everybody to a very high standard. He's on us a lot, and he's always taking the time to teach us and help us be the best that we can be. I mean, not just in football either, but in all aspects of life. And I think he's a great coach. He's you can see that he loves the game, and he loves seeing players develop, and it's very you can see that in the way he coaches. He has passion with it, and I appreciate all the time that he takes for us, because he really does take a lot of his time and puts a lot of energy into us.
Where do you feel that you made the greatest strides from that first practice to end of the season? Where do you see the biggest gains made in your game?
I think the biggest growth I had was just being comfortable with the defense. It's I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, that it's the defense is a lot to learn, and that's one of the things that was hard last year, being comfortable with the defense and understanding the concepts that an offense might run too. I think I started to get a lot more comfortable with that throughout the season, and I think that'll be big going into the next season, being able to focus a little less on learning the defense and a little more on improving different aspects of my game.
And going back to the start, obviously you come from a football family. Was that your entry into the sport, just kind of following along in kind of the family business, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, my brothers and I, we would just always play football growing up, just with each other in the backyard, or have friends that were playing football, and just it just started with that. And I mean, we'd all just played football, and then I mean, just went on from there. We all ended up getting scholarship offers, being able to go and play in college. We were all very blessed in that aspect, and so yeah, it just started with us playing together as kids, and went on from there.
What are some of your favorite football memories from those early days, as a kid?
We'd play this game called Fumble, where we would be on the trampoline, and one of us would have the ball. When you get tackled, you throw it in the air, and somebody tries to pick it up and keep it. So we would play all the time, and just those are some of my favorite childhood memories, just playing on the trampoline, playing in the backyard with my brothers.
And then, of course, you go on to Chandler and play for a guy. Some of the fans know pretty well, and Sean Iguano. What was his influence like, and ultimately kind of shaping your path?
He had a huge influence on me. I think you can see it in the program that he ran at Chandler that he was big on discipline, big on the little things there, on um, doing the right things. He has a saying that he always used to say, it's do the right things all the time. And so it had a big influence on me. I mean, he helped me know that I wanted to play college football too, and he helped with my recruiting a ton. I mean, he brought a lot of attention to the school because of the program that he had helped build up. And I remember he always had college coaches and recruiters coming into the school, and he did a really good job at connecting his players with them.
Of course, you guys reunite here in Tempe as Sun Devils now. When you compare Coach Iguano now versus Coach Iguano then, where do we see some differences, or how he's evolved over the years?
I mean, I don't get to be around him too much. He's obviously over there with the running backs. I wish I could be around him a little more. But I mean, I could see how he's grown to I guess develop players even more. I mean, he gets to be with the position group, but I see that how much his running backs love him and love being around him, and I can see how important he is to them, and can see that he takes the time to be with them. I guess when you're a head coach in high school, you don't get to be with the individuals as much, but I think that's something that has stuck out to me, that how much his players love him.
You mentioned that he was a key part of the recruitment process, and obviously, a lot of schools coming after you. But did you see any kind of curveballs thrown in, or maybe some schools have some difficulty knowing that there's going to be a couple of years after high school, knowing that you're taking the mission that you'd actually be stepping foot on campus?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a lot of schools that I'd mentioned that too, and they stopped recruiting me. That that was an obstacle for several schools. But I had made my mind up about it, and though I mean there was schools that I was interested in that stopped talking, but stopped touching me because of that. But I had made my mind up, and that was more important to me than football. So.
And then, of course, that path takes you to, I believe, Argentina and then Texas. What was it like, just kind of being in Argentina? They're obviously a different country, different lifestyle, culture. Just like, what was that experience like for you, and how do you feel it's kind of shaped you as a person?
I mean, it was definitely a challenging experience at first, adjusting to a whole new culture, a whole new language. Nobody speaks English or anything, so um, it was definitely challenging. But I enjoyed it, and I got to meet so many people and help a lot of people, and so it was, I mean, an unforgettable experience. That taught me a lot, helped me to see different parts of the world, and experience a whole different culture, and just made me a lot more grateful for what we have here in the United States. It was, I mean, definitely an unforgettable experience. I could go on for a long time talking about little things.
Was it hard, when the mission came to an end, getting back into college, the college football mindset, to kind of, turn that page and kind of ramp up, after a couple of years away from the field?
Definitely, yeah. It was. I mean, I was excited about it. I mean, refreshed, ready to start working again with football. But it was definitely challenging. Obviously, I lost a lot of the physical element of football, but I think even more challenging, more surprising was the mental edge that I lost. It's kind of, I mean, I hadn't focused on football in so long. I had to learn all the basic concepts of defenses and offenses again, and so that was hard getting back into it. It was challenge athletically too. I hadn't put my body to use like that for a long time, and so it took some time. But I think I'm pretty much back now.
How did you kind of get back, or how long did it take you feel it got back to getting to a level where you felt comfortable back on the field? And what were some of the ways that you tried to maybe expedite that process and kind of get back to where you once were?
I mean, it's hard to say. It was kind of just a slow development throughout the whole thing. I mean, at BYU, they're pretty experienced with that. They have a lot of guys get off of missions, and so they did a really good job of helping me get everything back physically. Did a good job. I mean, progressing me throughout a training program to help me get my body back and get some speed back and stuff. So, that helped out a lot. And then getting to ASU, that really helped me get my mental game back, I'd say. And just from that point on, it was kind of a slow progression. And throughout the season, I mean, I was still developing too. And it's still an ongoing process, I'd say. I don't know exactly where I compare now to where I was before my mission, but it's just a continual process of improvement. So it doesn't matter where I was or could have been.
Now, moving on to BYU, you didn't have a ton of playing time, but you got some experience there. As you mentioned, kind of just getting back in the fold of the life of a student athlete, a football player. What were some of the big things that you took away from your experience at BYU?
Some of the things I took away from my experience at BYU. Well, I enjoyed being up there at BYU, but it was something I wanted a little bit different when it came to the football program and from coaching and stuff like that. I think, I didn't realize, how much I like a coach who kind of is strict and who has intensity and holds everybody to the small accountable to the smallest details. So that's something that I learned about myself, I guess, is that I like someone who harps on all the small things. And I mean, there's a lot of things that I learned there at BYU too.
Was it tough just making the decision to leave, just kind of maybe given the family connection there, or were you just really kind of totally ready for a fresh start?
I mean, it was definitely tough to leave. I was having family up there, and having a lot of friends up there still too. So it was a tough decision to leave, but I felt like it was the right decision. I felt like I was ready for something new, definitely.
Why was Arizona State the right place for you to continue your career?
One of the big reasons was Coach Iguano. Once I hit the transfer portal, he reached out to me and told me to come on a visit right away. And it felt good to be back. I mean, been in Arizona for a while now, and I love it here. And I knew it's where I wanted to be. And I committed pretty soon after I'd entered the transfer portal, just because I knew that I loved it here. Most of my family is here. It's a good school, good, and I just liked all the coaches, especially Coach Dillingham and Coach Cooper, what they had to bring.
Were you an ASU fan growing up, being coming up in the Valley, or do you have a reading interest elsewhere?
So I moved here right before high school, and I always liked ASU. I wanted them to win. I wasn't like a diehard fan or anything, but I did. I guess I could say that I was a fan. Just not a super intense fan.
Being back in the Valley, being back, to some of the place you call home. You mentioned so much family here. How has that kind of helped you along as you kind of, finding your footing here as a Sun Devil, just being back home and being back in the Valley?
It's exciting to play for somewhere that there's a lot of people that I know who are ASU fans. I think that's an exciting feeling. It definitely gives me, I don't know, the opportunity to kind of be a hometown hero, I guess. But it's also just a place that I love. I love being here. I'm happy here in Arizona. That it's always sunny, and so it's just I feel happy here, and that's definitely played a big role in it. Just being able to be excited to play for a city that I know and love.
Being away from for a couple of years, overseas, and then Texas and Utah. What were some of the Valley spots you missed? Maybe some of the food spots or things that are around town that you're really glad to be back.
I don't know many local spots. More just. There was a couple like Mexican local spots like Los Favoritos, I guess that I missed a lot. But I got really good Mexican food when I was in San Antonio. Probably better than here, to be honest. But I just missed stuff like Five Guys when I was in Argentina. I missed Five Guys a lot, like Whataburger, Barro's Pizza.
Okay, good deal. So, as a guy who came up in, the local high school football scene, what has it been like seeing Kenny Dillingham and this current staff kind of place a priority on the local talent after perhaps, a couple prior, regimes didn't really, let those relationships kind of wither away. But this, Kenny, from day one has been really kind of, placing a priority on activating the Valley and building those relationships up again.
I'm really happy about it. I mean, if you look at it, all of those who are playing college football from Arizona, there's a ton of guys out there, and there's so much talent. And I mean, if we can, just take, half of that or more, and keep it here in Arizona, then I think we'll have as much potential or as much talent as we need to do anything we want. There's so much talent and potential here in Arizona. So I love it, and that was something that I saw growing up is that the ASU didn't recruit enough in-state, and so it's really exciting what Coach Dillingham is doing, and I think it's going to give us a big edge, a big advantage.
You had a breakout season in 2023, and now you're getting some reinforcements with a trio of new linebackers coming in through the portal. Obviously still pretty early on, but what's some impressions of those guys joining you?
I'm really excited. They're all really good guys, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know them. We're actually getting along really well. It's been a good experience so far, and I'm excited to play with them. To push each other. Obviously, there's going to be competition, but it's a good thing. Make each other better. And so I'm excited about that, and I think they're going to be great players too. They already are.
November 23rd, the BYU Cougars coming to town. Is there any extra juice in that game for you?
It's just another game, but there is a little bit of extra excitement for sure.
And so when you look ahead to this 2024 season, what are the things that you personally and individually want to accomplish? You want to make sure that once your second season in the maroon and gold is wrapped up, that you were able to get out and get done.
There's a lot I want to do, but I was talking about it earlier. I'm focused more on improving myself. I want to get better every single day right now, and I want to be a better player every single game. And there's all these stats I'd like to have. There's all these awards. Every linebacker would want to win. I think it's obvious if you're playing in college, you want to win. You want to do all those great things. I think right now I'm really just focused on improving myself. And being a better player every single day in every single game. And I think that if I can do those things and continue to improve and really work on my systems and my processes, then I can accomplish a lot of good things.
The defense overall had a pretty solid debut season in the first year under Brian Ward and Kenny Dillingham, and a lot of key pieces, including yourself coming back, a lot of very talented newcomers added into that, and as well as that year of experience. What are Sun Devil fans going to see from this ASU defense here in 2024?
I'm not sure exactly, but I think it'll be a really good thing. I'm excited about it. I can't stop thinking about it. We had so much talent on defense last year, and we most of the games we played really good. There was a couple games where we didn't show up. But I think after a whole year in the system and getting even more talent, I think it's going to be really exciting and should be a really big powerhouse as far as the defensive side goes.
I'd like to thank Tate for taking the time to talk with me for this episode. I'd also like to thank Jeremy Hawks of ASU Media Relations. Make sure you are subscribed to Speak of the Devils in the podcast platform of your choice for more great episodes with many athletes across many sports all off season long. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at bdenny29.